Hood Postman, City, Hood, Click. Let's go.
About humanity, putting truth in these lines while they busy feeding lies. When you got that tunnel vision, gotta open up your eyes. Wake up and go to sleep. Man, I'm praying all times. And to my guys, ain't no other side. This for my brothers, I'ma pray we all shine. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Yeah, you already know.
Depending on the lessons, some people eat, some people learn. But the game is gonna send you big.
Lock the door. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below so when the dope content hit, it's going to feel like it's the first and the 15th. Welcome to the Mailroom. When you click it, come in, take a look at your mind, examine what's in your heart. You can go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lives, but you come right here, get the truth, and the truth you shall receive. This is not a glorification or it's glamorization. It's always an education. Get on the bus and let me take you to school. If you ring that bell, I'm going to bring that mail. What's good? Shout out to the Mailroom Nation in the mail. Shout out to Marlena Williams, RDL in the chat. What's good, people? What's good? Shout out to nephews, nieces, cousins, and kinfolk. Everybody. I want to include everybody. I want everybody to be about it. I don't want you to be happy. I want you to be unreasonably happy. It is an honor to be sharing time and space with you all. Once again, we are living in a day where people are proud of what they should be ashamed of. But that's just where we at with it, guys. Got a opportunity this weekend to go be a part of the festivities in the Compton parade. That was incredible and amazing. Shout out to Andre Spicer, 2nd District Councilman, for doing an amazing and excellent job. He was incredible over there, very active, engaging. He embodied what a councilman should be with his constituency. He was there. He was engaging. He was involved. He was helping out with the rap and all that stuff. So shout out to him. Want to take a moment make a moment of silence for the homeboy Mondo and the homeboy T-Wee. They lost their mom. Beverly, she's going on to the heavenly door, pearly gates. We send our condolences to those guys, and man, we come today, we're going to talk about Killa Wayne and things, and I jump on Big Boys Only. That's his name, Killa Wayne and things, and I jump on Big Boys Only. See, during my time, guys, we had mantras, and I think those mantras help propel us in a way like no other group of individuals. And one of those mantras that Killa Wayne came up with, you got to be tough to eat it, Gus. And let me explain. Gus Tuff was right there on the corner of Willow. And if you see in the picture, that's the picture that Killa Wayne, well, not Killa Wayne, you got Mondo, Keith Ray, Gangster, Turtle, Nuba, Limon, let's see, who else is right there? Will and Joe Nathan. Yeah. all right there. And I know I'm missing somebody out of there. I can't remember who I'm missing, but I know I'm missing somebody there. But if I'm missing, oh, Bad Habit Rabbit. I can't miss the Bad Habit Rabbit, not Big Bad Habit Rabbit. The habit. He got the habit. So, yeah. So, one of those mantras was that you have to be tough to eat a Gus. And you might take that lightly, or you might be able to envision what I'm telling you because of where Guff was centrally located. It was a tough situation because it's right there on Rosecrans at the corner of Willow. Anything passing by, anything going left or right down Rosecrans, they can potentially see you right there. And at that time, you can become a target or a victim of some circumstances. It was right there on Front Street. You was right there on Broadway, literally, and that's where all the action was occurring during those times. And Killer Wayne made it. You got to be tough to eat at Gus. And the thing about Gus, there was a little Asian lady that worked there, and her name was Tina. She went on and made the Tanner burger, the Tanner special, and all that. And it was the burgers and the fries and the coconut was a Tanner special. I think it was 99-cent, 5-cent tax, $5 during that time. Imagine that, having your own hamburger special named after your neighborhood because the people had that much service, or they believed in whatever you was putting down in that time. They felt it. But we talk about Killer Wayne, right? You got to be tough to eat at Gus. Killer Wayne was one of the most dynamic, one of the most, I'm talking about vicious and fearless individuals. I'm talking about a hand god number one, Killer Wayne, Killer Ty Wayne, Killer Oliver Ty Wayne, hand god number one. I've never seen him lose a fight. Now, somebody else might try to come and try to say, I don't know, but I'm telling you, from my mouth to your ears, I have never seen Killer Wayne lose a fight. And Killer Wayne was so gifted. He was like, when you see him, you ever see how a pit bull stalk his prey when he getting ready? That's how Killer Wayne, he had that pit bull bravado. He had that pit bull stalking in him. He was like, he'd be on, he gonna shake you. That's how Killer Wayne was. It was just, man, it was just fascinating to see Killer Wayne work. It was just fascinating to see him go to work. And when he went to work, all you can do was sit back and be in awe of that technician. Golden Gloves champion, sparred with other champions. Literally, that should have been who he was. He should have been able to take that talent and take it far and beyond and above. That's just how gifted he was in that. In the streets of Compton, Sets would engage in posturing, bravado, and acts of violence. That just kind of like went with that, and to assert dominance and maintain the increased of hood status or hood ranking. That just, that's what guys did. And that didn't matter whether you was a Pyru or you was a Crip. That kind of just would assimilate across the board. And no other better than demonstrate all that was Killer Wayne. And that's part of the fearlessness and part of the attack that Killer Wayne, because he was the founder of MTC, Midtown Crip. And later we took the Oaks Park off, we took the Midtown off, and we became Santana. So, and when he came back from prison, when he came back home, everything had changed. You know what I mean? While he was gone, it had all changed and became Santana. And I was just like wondering how he was going to accept that. And he embraced it, and he embraced it well. And he didn't bark on it. He didn't try to fight it, but he still was just Killer Wayne, that guy that we can all depend on as an older homie. Because I'm now finna be 66. I think Killer Wayne would probably be about, he'd probably be about 70 now if he was still living. At least 69, 70, somewhere in there. I never forget, man, he loved my dad. Hey, Mr. Gibbs, Mr. Gibbs, Mr. Gibbs. My dad loved him some Killer Wayne too. And I remember my dad had a Wildcat and he was selling it. And Killer Wayne wanted the car. Mr. Gibbs, hold the car for me. Mr. Gibbs, hold the car for me. My father said, Killer Wayne? He didn't call him Killer Wayne, call him Wayne. I'm gonna hold the car for just for you. And sure enough, Wayne went and hustled that money up and came back and got that car. That was probably one of the happiest moments I've seen the homie. And, you know, from that point on, the hustle was on. His movement was different, you know what I mean? He was out there moving around, getting around, doing his thing, you know. It just was such a rare moment when you saw him, to see him moving like that, you know, and he just was such an incredible individual. And we used to have a guy that used to come around. I talked to Kizzy today about this. His name was, we called him Picture Man. Nobody knew his name or where he came from. He's just that picture that I got in the thumbnail. He actually took that picture. In other words, there's a better version of that. And he would bring back posters of us and all these big old incredible pictures. And I don't know whatever happened to him, but I'm sure whatever happened to all that film and all that footage he captured, I don't know what happened to it, where it could possibly be, man. But it was just, man, he was always there. Whether we was on Willow, Spring, on the other side, on Rosecrans, he was always wanting to take our picture. He was always there to take our picture. And I was just chopping it up with Kizzy just now, wondering what happened. And one thing I used to like to see Killer Wayne, right? Killer Wayne would come out, and he had his brother named Sammy Capone, Fat Daddy, and his older brother. I can't remember what his older brother name. I think we called him Wolfie or something. Wolf? But I don't remember his name. But he had sister Lolita. And Killer Wayne, next door was baby boy, Carl. He lived next door. And next door to them was where the game and George Taylor and the game where they live, right? And Killer Wayne and George Taylor, you get out there to be slapped by, you know, getting it in, just, you know, tooling up, I would say, just tooling up. And I used to like sit there and watch that, you know, and we was always had some amazing, incredible times on Willow Street, because Bad Habit was right there. Mooney and Big Mike and their sister was right there. And then down at the corner was Kizzy, Joe Nathan, Sleep Hudson, and then Keith Ray. And then between that was Baby Boy, Killer Wayne, Mia, and then down Laurie Horton, Heavy Head was another one. Was another Midtown. And then right next to Heavy Head was Mark Penwright. You know, Penwright right there. And then across the street from there was Killer Bray, was part of that. Killer Wayne and Killer Bray jump on Big Boys Only. And then his brother was Zabo. And I think I just covered about everybody that was right there, you know, in that one little block section. And we always would be right there. And a lot of nights, sometime we would always, the thing about it back then, man, when them dudes came through, all they would say is Paru. And then here came the fire. Pow, 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 pow. You know? And they would make no mistakes about what the agenda was or what was going down. That's just the way it was happening. And I'm not, like I say, it's not a glorification. I'm just giving you history, and I'm trying to give you theater of the mind to where you can see exactly what's going on. Like, when the guy that I interviewed, Lewis, he was one of the little kids that came to the backyard. Little kid at the time came to the backyard and shot us, shot both of the twins. And I think Stanford. Everybody survived, but it was just crazy that to know now that the little kid is the one that did that. A little kid at the time, because he was younger than all of us, But that was just times where, we all on Willow, and then Stanley Pitts or Puddin come through. But I'm telling you guys all this to say this, is that those situations hardened us in a way and made us more vicious and volatile than what they imagined. You know what I'm saying? Because pressure will bust a pipe. And sometimes people can put so much on you to where your back is against the wall and you ain't got nothing to do but come up out the corner swinging. Case in point, me, Twin, and Buzz. We come back. I had a blue Eldorado at that time. Pull back up, and the homies they on there, and we got carbines, we got autoloaders, we got all kind of stuff. We just coming back and jumping out and sleep. I remember sleeping a few other Killer Wayne there. They saw us jump out the corner. They took off. No, it's us. Only it's us. But that's just how, quick and fast everything was action. It was just transaction after transaction. Like the transactions went like this, guys. They come. We gonna try to beat them back to where they came from before they even get there. That's just how that transaction went. Case in point, Mom Jane said, man, before we can even make it back to where we was coming from, y'all was already on us. I'm not saying that Mom Jane said that. That was his words, because that's how he felt about what happened about those situations. And a lot of people might, be disgusted or discouraged by these stories. But here's the thing, guys. I do not want kids. I do not want a younger generation. I do not want them being a part or experiencing anything that I had to go through or some of my homeboys had to go through our times. I think that these are teachable moments for them to understand the lessons, the message in the lessons, because it's vital that they get this, because there's going to be times where I'm not going to be here anymore. I got more behind me than I do in front of me. So I'm making these videos. So there'll be times when my grandkids, my great grandkids, and all these people will be able to go back and see their grandfather or see their father speaking in a way that was, I'm trying to speak life into the people now. Now, there was a time when I was out there being part of the unliving of my own people, and I was critically damaged by that. When I think about it, it was like, how did we get there? How did we wind up there? And it was, the Killer Waynes and the Donald Duck Norwoods and, and the Frogs and the Killer Braves and the New Yorks and the Heavyheads and the Darnells and the Snakes and the Chili Pimps and the Big Roys and all these different people. They had different ideologies, but we followed right in their footsteps, not knowing the consequences and the severity of what we was actually stepping into, because there was levels, but there was age gaps too. The age gaps, me and Kizzy talked about this. The age gap. Now, if you were 11 and 12, you wasn't doing what a 14 or 15, 16-year-old was doing. You just weren't. If you were, that was just some special stuff that you was part of. You was a man child, and you was already like matured in a way that everybody else hadn't matured. Now, there's always exceptions There's nothing that in this life that's ever 100%. There's always exceptions. And I'm speaking in general. Hey, Monique, how are you? Shout out to Big Dev. Shout out to RDL. Shout out to Henry. Shout out to Stan the Man. Shout out to everybody that come here. Ace Hood and Rodney Scott. And I'm just delivering, man. I'm telling you guys, if you ever saw Killer Wayne fight, you would have thought like, man, this dude right here, what is he doing on the corner fighting somebody? He should be in the ring getting paid to do that because he was like a Sugar Ray Leonard, he was like a Sugar Ray Leonard and a Marvin Hagler combined. He had that combination. And Fat Daddy wasn't no joke either. Fat Daddy was a hand god. I'm gonna give you the Fat Daddy, Snoop, Reggie Parker, Snoop, Willow Rated, William Beck, Andre Brown, Kizzy, Gangster, my brother Age, Scrunchy. You better watch out. I'm gonna go see Scrunchy tomorrow. Yes, indeed. I'm gonna go see him tomorrow. Big J Dog, Pep. Let's see. Bullet. So many. And one of the most dangerous dudes, I'm talking about littlest dudes, was that Boo Boo. Boo Boo was super dangerous. But what he lost in size, he made up in heart. And we had a few homies that was like that. What they lost in size, they made up for in heart. And Killer Wayne was one of the people that demonstrated what it was to be fearless and have the heart and the tenacity and just go in there and mash and do your stuff, get straight to the business. I never seen Killer Wayne turn down nothing. He was always about that business. Hey, Hood, what's up with you, homie? CPT in the house, North Street. What's up, North Street? Those were the homies too, man. Big Losell, Lottie, another hand god over there. Michael Stone, Danny Manning, just to name a few. David Cole, just to name a few. Punchy, and there's much more that I can name, in their section. The Celestines, Field Dog. Rest in peace, Field Dog. Rest in peace to a lot of them, man. It's crazy, man. When me and Gangster was talking about this Saturday, man, it's just a few of us left. A lot of these guys are dying with libraries. They have whole books and volumes in them, but they don't know how to translate it or transmute it to where everybody else can benefit from it, because that's why these videos are necessary, because history is medicine for a sick mind, because within history, it has a variety of human experience we can teach and learn from. So when I come in and tell you the stories, I don't necessarily favor these stories. I'd rather just get into the aspects of real, because they often have real consequences that impact hoods and reputations and have physical put-off consequences, But if you know how to articulate, if you know how to express it in a way that is not harmful or demonizing or putting nobody in critical, to where they got to feel pressure behind it, But nowadays, the internet has shifted, because we got all these keyboard gangsters and they live in virtual reality, Most of the guys that's out there now, they live in virtual reality. They're not in the physical reality that which I come from. The Killer Waynes, the gangsters, the Puddins, the bartenders, Marcus Nuns, and Stanley Pitts, and Kizzies and Killer Waynes, and all those physical individuals that was out there physically in the streets doing what they doing. Now you got this virtual sense that where somebody can get on the internet right now and just start talking crazy to me, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. You know, what do you want me to do? To get on there and start talking crazy with them? Then if I do that, it'll be hard for you to determine which one of us is the fool. If I don't say anything, then you'll know the fool is, because I'm not addressing some insignificant situation about somebody that really don't know nothing about me. Absolutely nothing except what they heard or seen on the internet. And that doesn't sums up. That's not enough to sum up or summarize who I am as an individual. So I mean, I come on in and I'm here for it though. I got all the parts. I got all the parts. That's why I can go down the line for each and one of my homeboys that will allow me to articulate their story or put it in a framework to where it comforts them, but don't put them in jeopardy. But at the same time, you get a visual, you get access to it. You know what I mean? You get access to it, and you can see clearly that this guy wasn't no joke. Handlebars. Handlebars. I remember when Penwright first came home from the pen. I looked at Penwright. Penwright had muscles bouncing out. Penwright had muscles in his head, in his big old head. Like, Penwright, what you was eating up in there, man? What you was doing, Mark Penwright, Or the homie Pat Rat, haven't seen him in eons and years. I was talking to homie Earl Walker Pee Wee. Me and Pee Wee go way back. Pee Wee, a lot of people don't know Pee Wee, Earl Walker, Jerry Wicker, Paul, they all lived on Spring too, right next to Robert Thomas, aka Frog, right across the street from Sally, right across the street from Pretty Crip, Guy Walker. They don't know that. The other day, matter of fact, let me get a shout out to the homie Snake, rest in peace, the homie Drac, his brother, and also Zach, Will from Front Hood. He lived on Spring as well. Let's see, T-Rock and Alfie, because I missed them the other day when I was giving out that Spring Street roll call. I missed them the other day, but yeah, you in there now, baby. Lock. As the kids would say, lock. Yeah, so, you guys will see me all the time with my kids, hanging with my sons, and just trying to be a father and a steward at the same time, being a guide to the path and being a light to their walk, that which they're now traveling now as men, because they fully understand that there's more to this than just being out there and being in the streets, being a tough guy. Billy the Kid was a tough guy, but every day he had to prove that. And that didn't necessarily work out. At some point, it quit working, So being a tough guy, it's not what you want to be, because there's always going to be somebody that's going to be takers, And that's not taken away from Wayne or any of that. I saw Wayne do what he do, and right to this day, I never seen Wayne lose a fight. I'm talking about, well, let me put it this way. I never saw Wayne lose a fight while he was standing tall, healthy, strong, and a young man. Now, when they caught him as an old man and he had went through some life stuff, then that made it different. I'm talking about when he was standing tiptoes down on that street, walking around like a pit bull, never saw him bend, break, or bow down. Never saw it. Never saw it. So if you want to know where the fire come from for that Santana, you gotta start with Killa Wayne. You gotta start with Killa Wayne, because if you don't understand that, you don't know really where you come from and how you got there. You gotta start with Killa Wayne, and then on the other side of that coin is Donald Duck Norwood. You have to start with that. And then you can understand what was the process of being a Santana. I'm talking about they was the Navy SEALs, a crippin'. Some people may disagree with me, just like the Grandies. Navy SEALs are crippin' during their time. But being that apartment buildings are usually so transitional, and whatever that whatever that cadre is, or whatever that brings that together, it gets broken up. There's two ways it gets broken up. That's either by intervention of police, law enforcement, or intervention of people moving and getting put out or whatever. Then you lose some of that, whatever that is you had to make you some. So yeah, Wally Dog, what's up, man? What's good? Wally Dog is here for it, guys. That's my guy, Wally Dog, man. Original Majestic, man. Original Majestic. Love me some Wally Dog, man. But anyway, so when you understand that, you would see like one of the power sources of Compton was the Grandies, because the Grandies was a stronghold, and the Killer Waynes and the Ducks and the Bitter Dog Brunos and the Marcelluses and the Big Rebos and the King Nings and Salty and Frosty and Half Pint Bruno. I'm supposed to be getting with him, but can't catch up with him. Catnip, Mr. X, Karate Man, my brother-in-law, Keedy Welch, Preacher, Fat Soul Amy. And I'm talking about where this was a place where all Compton Crips were welcome. And they convened in that project session because it was a cul-de-sac. And if I had to say that anything that came close to looking like that, what that was Santana. Had the same viciousness, had that same ferocious, had that same roar, had that same bite. You know, but that was due to the physicality and things that they was put through, you know what I mean, to reach that point. The chat, what's going on? What about Nunn family? The Nunn family was over in the Perus. What about Primo Pete's story? Primo Pete, yeah, that he come later on down the road, bro. He come later on down the road. You gotta stand on toughness. He had, yeah. Oh man, I came from. How can I forget that? He did have the toughest pit bull, Bo. I seen Killer Wayne, right? Take Bo, and he would take the tree, tap on the tree, bap, 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 hit it, Bo, and that darn dog would jump on that tree and bite all the bark off of it. That Killer Wayne and that dog were one and the same. I forgot about that, B. That's my brother right there. I forgot. Thanks for reminding me about that. That was like what reminded me of Killer Wayne was that dog, Bo. Man, Killer Wayne and that dog went everywhere. Everywhere. I remember we was on Spring Street. We all at New Bop's, and I think Amin was across the street. New Bop was on this side of the street, and somebody creeped through the backyard of Amin's house. And Killer Wayne said, somebody in that backyard. Man, ain't nobody back there, Killer. Man, he said, man, somebody in that backyard. Killer Wayne said, man, somebody said, I think New Bop said, man, well, go see who it is then. Look out, see, man, check. Soon as Killer started walking back, they get out. Yaka. Oh, he's a little shot killer, man. But that was crazy how somebody, man, you know, because here's the thing, guys. The sneak attack was more effective than coming down. If you came down the street, down Spring, Willow, Peck, whatever, you came down any of those streets, it would be very hard and difficult for you to make it off if you tried to get off a shot or whatever. It would be based on the firepower and the number of guys that had them out there. It would be very difficult. Right on, Ronnie. Appreciate you. It would be very difficult, man. But yeah, but that pit bull, Bo and Killer Wayne was one and the same. They had the same personality. Killer Wayne would beat the bark off you, and Bo would eat the bark off you. That was crazy how them two. Thanks for the love. Back at you. Don't forget the homie. I'm walking. I'm waiting on to get back. Get back. Okay. Right on, Roddy dog. I got you. Yeah, man. Of course, I can't forget about Rudy Camacho, man. Are you kidding me? Poncho and Dopey? Are you kidding me, man? Poncho and Dopey, man, was like honorary Santanas. We grew up with them, bro. The Camachos on Santa Fe. Sergio Camacho, Dopey, they brother Cochise and all that, and then Jap them and Karate Man and all Kung Fu, and all Caveman and all them dudes from CV. Come on, man. We grew up with them dudes. Frito. Yeah, you right, bro. Thanks for reminding me about that. Yeah, we all right there, man. My homie Chewy, Juju, started Willow Street. That Santana big block letters on him. Just some guys, it crazy as this may sound, but there was some fun in that stuff. It wasn't just all the time people getting into it and shooting. That came, but that was fun, man. Going to the beach, going to the skating rink, going down there to the Lowrider scene, Florence and Maine. I mean, we all went out to the beach. I think it was Hermosa Beach, down by Manhattan Beach. At time, me, Killer Raider, Donald Guy, Squab, and T-Bone. Just a lot of us went down. Illy, Barbara. We used to call some of the women, no disrespect to the women, but we used to call them the neighborhood coons, right? I don't know why Killer Raider called them that, but that's what he called them, the neighborhood coons. We go down there and we get into it with some Nazis. Man, we got white boys knocked out all over the beach. Man, the white people were taking people to jail and trying to lock people. Most of us got away, but yeah, some of the homies got locked up behind that. What's up, Squad? This is a dope live. I respect and love you show for all the I show all my generations love, man. And all the way down to the TGs, the BGs, the OBGs, the Gs, the double Gs, the triple Gs, and infants and newborns. They way down there. They all the way down there. And Young Beezy now, he's on this artistry. Y'all check him out. Young Beezy Santana, he's coming. Doing really well with his music. Still got a couple of people, got Stan Shepard and KB the Playmaker working with him. So yeah, it's gonna work out, guys. It's gonna work out. But that iconic picture, the picture man. I want to be. Do you remember the picture man, the dark skinned dude used to come to the hood, take pictures of everybody all the time? He's wear the black suit. That's a lot of those pictures that was taken in the hood. Picture man took it. Picture man. I never knew what happened to Picture Man. I would love to know what Picture Man did with all them pictures. That's the picture with Mondo, Keith Ray, Gangster Turtle, New Bob, Limon, Bad Habit Rabbit, Will, and let's see who was Joe Naked. That's another thing. Yep, you remember? Okay, yeah, that's another thing. When Killer Wayne got into it with Joe Naked, man. Joe Naked, man, coming out the liquor store. Killer Wayne rushed up in there, hit him with a Miller, told him Miller's time. I know. Sorry, Joe Naked. I had to tell that part, man. That was too funny when that happened. Man, that was too funny. Miller's time. Killer Wayne, something else for that. Smash the like button, like Marlena say. Smash the like button. I mean, if you guys enjoy these stories and you like hearing them, I don't mind doing them. But I gotta give some positivity with it as well. I gotta, narrate or create something to where we can also explain to the children, the kids that might be seeing this, that we don't want you to do this. We don't want you to do this. We don't want you to follow this route. This is not a map. This is not a map of success. This is a map of disaster. And now we seeing, we got multitudes of guys that are property owners, business owners, running nonprofits and just doing really well, and they haven't looked back, and you can't blame them if they don't want to come around. They don't come around, I don't hold them. This ain't the mafia with blood in, blood out, and all that different stuff. But I would like to see them close the books, except no more memberships. The books are closed. No more Pyrus, no more Bloods, no more Crips, no more Hoopers. The books are closed. We're closed to membership. And yeah, that was my son in American. What is it called? Something. What is the documentary? My son was in that. I forgot the name of the documentary, but anyway, I was in federal prison at the time that he was in. Him and Gertrude, Montana, they was in that. And then they explained their side of it. So any questions for me at this time? Because Made in America, there you go. Made in America, there you go. That slipped my mind for some reason. Because at that time, me, Gangster, my brother Age, we were all in Pee Wee and some of them, we was all in federal prison when all that happened. And that was another critical time. I think, what was that? What year was that? That Compton became the murder capital. Not nothing to be proud of, but yeah, at one time, per capita, Compton was the murder capital. But anyway, I want to tell you guys this too. Coming soon, my cousin, Mila, and I'll give every full detail. She's going to be running for state assembly. We're going to need everybody to, who's ever not registered, go registered. I need you to vote for my cousin. We're trying to get her in the office. So, we're going to get her in the office. Come wind, high water, or rain. That's what I'm pushing for. Shout out to Baron Davis. Oh, Baron Davis, who did that? Okay. Yeah. So we're going to try to get my cousin elected, and she's going to be running for state assembly. So do you remember a cat called Dollar with the black foe? Yeah, with a body. Yeah, Dollar. That's the homie. A lot of people have black foes, Wally, including you. Y'all was locked down and couldn't be a part of that like Turtle. What do you mean? I don't know what that means. Got stories, that's all. Okay, Wally. Okay. Now, me and Turtle, Bad Habit, Rat, Mondo, Kizzy, Primo Pete, Bus, Scrunchy, you better watch out, Rick Carter. Yeah, we was all part of that documentary in '84. We were all in that. And the twin, rest in peace. and the twin. My name is Angelo, and I do it low and slow. That's what he used to say. My name is Angelo. I do it low. Turtle was in his Turtle was in his documentary. Oh, okay. Scar Wolf, thank you, man. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. I wish more people was like you, Star Wolf. You know, they appreciate the stories that, and just, you know, uh, show some appreciation. I tell you what, the appreciation start coming, I'll do more in-depth stories. I promise you. I promise you. Uh, uh, yeah, that 1984 docuseries was crazy because that was the first time that anybody had got on film and Lido, yeah, that anybody had got on film and just showed all their goddammits and all that different stuff. And I'm talking about talking crazy. We telling the world what we gonna do. And they think we there and they all the time, they there because of the Olympics. It was all about the 1984 Olympics and what impact and effect that gang culture would have on the Olympics. Because there was a lot of countries coming over from all over the world, and their biggest concern was gang culture. Because just think about it, you at the LA Coliseum, you probably in right smack dab in the middle of some of the worst gangs. You got the 30s and the Harlems right there. You had the 40s, and then you got some blood neighborhoods. You got all that off of Adams. You got all that. So yeah. I think they call that the Biddy. That's my partner from over there, Gerald Fitzgerald Hunter, geek from the Biddy. 2003 about to be a crazy war. Yeah, little airhead from Venice Showline. Yeah, I was in the feds with him, man. He didn't tell on me. He told on Sammy Green them and Laquan and Boo Boo them from 60 and all that stuff. Yeah. But we all got arrested the same thing. Yeah, that documentary really kind of blowed us a black bone. Was a definite Black T-Bone? Yeah, definitely. Black T-Bone, light skinned T-Bone, Hub. I can't leave him out, you know. Yes, you put him up, man. Mooney. Can't leave Moon. Mooney was, man, come on, man. I remember Mooney ran the security guard back in the Compton High. Yeah. Okay, man. Rest in peace, his brother Lil Roy. Rest in peace, Lil Roy. Rest in peace, Big Bam. Kilowatt. There's a lot of homies rest in peace, man. Some from gangbangers, some just from some crazy stuff, Not that I, speak on how Lil Roy or some of them passed away, but, it's just crazy. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Like, being in a skating rink with Turtle and the twins and a lot of the homies and different stuff, how, we had each other's back, man. What's going on, Reggie? We had each other's back. For real. We went to the skating ring. I used to just see how when we used to pull up, it was like, damn, here come them ninjas. That was just the feel of it, you know what I mean? It was like, people be that they just hoping that these particular dudes do not show up tonight. Can we have a peaceful night of skating? You would see some of the air come out of some of them dudes. As soon as we pull up, it'd be like, damn, here come them ninjas. Yeah. And that was Reseda, World on Wheels, Skate Depot. You know, it didn't matter. It was just all, you know. I remember the homie, I got to do one on Big J Dog too. Big J Dog. Woo! Big J Dog was serious about his woman. Do not talk to Big J Dog's woman unless you want your hip broke. And then that's another story. We'll talk about that. But anyway, I'm gonna tell you this part. Big J Dog was gambling at World on Wheels, and the homies was gambling. And I don't know what dude did. It was the dude name, I think his name was Spike. And J Dog pulled him into one. I'm talking about, man, the ground shook. J Dog hit that man so hard. Yeah. Yeah, but that's Big J Dog. Big J, I seen Big J Dog slap another home and he went out. That's just how heavy it is. His hands and arms were. But anyway, we'll talk about him another day. But tonight we want to just give our reverence and our props and you know, talk about our homeboy Killa Wayne. Killa Wayne is thing, jump on big boys only. You know, and I was on the wrong thing. Let's see.
38 revolver. It really hurts. I had 6 of them in me. It hurts real bad.
Real bad.
That's why right now I issue it out.
Lord.
Instead of receiving, I ships it.
Why do you need the weapons?
Because guys don't fight anymore. They don't use the. We used to fight, but they don't do that anymore. Guns. All about shooting, taking them out.
Back.
Have you ever used them? A lot of times, many. When they come to the home front, that's when we use them. Yeah. And when they come shoot us, we go back and shoot them. Hey, look, hey.
Turtle say we receive them and I ships them. He was serious about that too. I receive them, but I ships them too. Yeah, that was funny stuff. But y'all get the gist of it though, man. You know, I appreciate you guys. Let me see any more questions in the chat. Any more questions? That car beam though, we had a few of those. Rude Dog, what's happening, Rude Dog? Rude Dog in the house. Be in the chat too, Rude Dog. Santana Black, don't stop. Yeah, B's in the chat too, man. Yeah, I remember the first time I met Rude Dog, him and his wife and everything come down there for the Majestics annual picnic. I think one of the first ones we was doing was Harbor Park. That's when we was going to Harbor Park, Rude Dog, and then later on we started going to Santa Fe Dam and stuff like that, and then later on they started doing Woodley and some other places. Yeah, man, but always a pleasure to see you guys. You guys are very good people, man. Just good people, man. Offer food and everything. You come and eat, man. And Rude Dog bring out that cold 60 rag. Woo! Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna get up. I want Reggie Wright and Mom James and on Vlad. They had a Compton roll call, and Mom James spoke highly on you and OG Bam. Right on, bro. Yeah, Mom James was about that business, man. I cannot take nothing for that man. Cannot take it. Same to you, bro. The family, much love and respect, man. Appreciate you, Rude Dog. Hopefully I see you on the first. And I'm definitely gonna be there. Save me a chicken bone. You know, that's a fascinating thing, guys. How the culture comes together, how black and brown comes together, and just throw this huge New Year gathering for the first of the year with lowriders. Everybody they don't got paint, they don't got interior, they got new rims, they got new music, they got fresh everything. You know what I mean? and they bring their cars out, and everybody converges, and guys come out there and start hopping, bam, bam. They're out there back bumping, man. Man, that is a tradition I hope don't never go away. I hope that always is, because it's such a thrill. It's like being on a roller coaster. And it's like, if you ever been in a rag fold, right? I'm in the rag fold, gangster rag fold, black rag fold, it's called a G thing. And me and my son, we coming up Crenshaw. And a girl from the other side of traffic jumped out the car, started screaming and hollering, and ran and jumped in the car. My son looking at her like, Dad, who is this lady? But she said, please don't put me out. Please don't. But that thrill, that excitement, and just to feel that wind and be knowing you got that sub going and feeling that, and you in that low, you just creep. You got that powerful engine in there. It's nothing. There's no other feeling that better than that. Not to me. Not to me. Not to me. Just no better feeling, bro. It's like being on a roller coaster, except you in a car. And everybody is just like, it's like Tupac said, all eyes on me. That's exactly what it is. It is a great feeling, And just to watch how all the guys go to the swap meets, go to everywhere looking for the parts and finding the right pieces to put, to finalize and put the definition and the detail into your lowrider. That's like some of the most great work right there. And you find people like Doc, and you find people like the guy that used to do the Lalo and stuff like that, used to do the interior. they was driving G's Black 4 when they low towed it for 2 small tires. Yeah. I remember I hit it Wally one time, and that whole drive shaft jumped up out of there. Little Daddy, you knew Little Daddy too? Yeah, that's DeAndre, man. That's Bill Hill, Green Hill. That's their brother, Jackie Hill. They some other loved ones, Good family. That whole drive shaft came up out of there. Wally Dog. Boom! I say, God damn it. You couldn't jump on it too hard because it has so much torque. The engine has so much torque. Too much torque. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that rag. I'm talking about that rag, folks. Yeah. Talking about that rag, folks. Tobias, what's happening? Let me see. He's not saying Biggie went on and said, get him, shaking my head. Snoop be lying. What's Snoop? I mean, one time, G had the 6'7", the Gangster Paradise. Man, I jumped in the Gangster Paradise. He just switches going around the corner. G said, man, who been in my car? Hey, G, I had to take it, baby. Because we had all the cars at the house, you know what I mean? It would be like, let's see, it'll be all the lowriders plus my Elco, twins' cars, my brother's car. Everybody's cars will be there. And that Gangster Paradise for Gangster was, yeah. I jumped in that thing and hit the corners. His dog face sitting there right there looking. Yeah, he was a little sensitive about that. Good to never laugh at all. But that was a cold lowrider right there. Man, I hate to see it go. I hate to see him, man. That Fizz did that wrong, man. They stole that man's cars like that, man. But that's how it go, guys. That's the name of the game, right? You win some, you lose some. But anyway, I am Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below. We've been here for over an hour. So now it's time to leave it tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we get on the mob. We'll see what happens. Stay tuned. I'm telling you guys, stay woke. Stay woke. Let's look forward. We'll bring the mob in tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Same station, same channel. But it's the Hood Postman. But don't mind me just watching. But go ahead and lock that door.
Cali Miners, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch the time of day. They see me climbing, they see me shining. That's hard work, proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. Ali, bad man, and I'm so pretty. I got that check with me. That's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking. And I don't talk about it, I just make it happen. Word on the block is that my shit go. Freaks for the low.
Lock the door, because we are gone, Marlena. We out.